I always believed that marriage was supposed to be a gentle place to fall, a safe space, a shelter from the noise and stress of the world, not another storm that wears you down. For a long time, that is what I thought I had with my wife, Juniper. Life was not perfect, but it felt steady enough. We had our good days, our routines, our inside jokes. I felt like we were on the same side. Then, over the last year, things slowly began to change. It was not one big fight or one dramatic moment. It was more like walking on thin ice and hearing tiny cracks under your feet, telling yourself it is nothing, hoping the surface holds. I kept pretending everything was fine, but inside I knew something was wrong. Juniper used to laugh at almost anything. Her laugh was soft and a little shy, and it was one of the things that drew me to her when we first met. I loved making her laugh. It made me feel close to her, like I could brighten her day just by being myself. But little by little, that laugh faded. She smiled less and less. Her patience wore down to almost nothing. Small things that never used to bother her would set her off. A forgotten chore. A question she did not like. The way I phrased something. Even my breathing felt like it might annoy her on the wrong day. I tried to fix it in different ways. I tried talking to her, asking what was wrong, trying to get her to open up. I tried just listening, letting her vent without defending myself. I tried giving her space, thinking maybe she needed time alone to sort through her feelings. None of it worked. Whatever cold wall had grown between us stayed in place. It felt like there was an invisible distance I could not cross, no matter how much I tried. Her new group of friends made everything feel worse. There was Arrow, the coworker who called her June in this casual, familiar way that made my stomach tighten every time I heard it. It felt too close, like he was stepping into a space that used to belong to us. Then there was Eloan, who loved to talk about strong women leaving average men behind. He made it sound like any woman who stayed in a normal marriage was holding herself back. Juniper would repeat some of his lines at home, like she was trying them on to see how they fit. And there was that hobby group she joined, a bunch of people who liked to sit around and talk about how marriage was a trap. They treated it like a cage instead of a promise. Like commitment was something foolish, not something chosen with love. I kept telling myself it was temporary. I told myself she was just in a strange phase. I told myself she would grow out of it once she got bored with all the drama and big talk. But deep down, I felt something building. A storm. A breaking point. And I had no idea what would happen when it finally arrived, or if I would be able to stand through it. Then one Friday evening it happened. I came home, took off my shoes, and walked into the kitchen like always. Juniper was standing by the counter, her arms crossed over her chest. Her face was calm, but in a way that made it impossible to read what she was thinking. On the table next to her was a clean stack of papers. Neat. Perfect. Waiting. I did not need to look closely at the top page to know what they were. My body knew before my mind did. Divorce papers. Our names were printed side by side on the first page, like the whole story of our life together was now just a case number and some lines on a form. All our memories, all our struggles, all our small joys turned into empty boxes and printed words. My chest tightened. For a brief moment, I could not breathe. It felt like the room shrank around me. Juniper did not flinch. She did not look upset. She simply watched me. She said that maybe this would finally make me take things seriously. She said my name in a flat, steady voice and told me that maybe now I would finally start to listen. I asked her as calmly as I could what she wanted me to listen to. My heart was pounding, but I tried not to show it. She shrugged, her eyes sliding away from mine. She said I barely talked to her anymore. She said I did not fight for her, did not make big romantic moves, did not act like I was afraid to lose her. She said I seemed to think that just being there was enough. She pushed a pen toward me with one finger. She told me that maybe if I saw those papers and felt real fear, maybe if I began to panic, then I would finally understand what was at risk. In that moment, something inside me did not burst into flame. It simply wore out. It was not rage rising in me. It was not terror. It was a deep, tired exhaustion. The kind that comes from trying over and over, pouring yourself into something, and feeling like nothing ever changes. I looked at her, really looked at her. I did not see the woman holding my hand in hard times. I did not see my partner standing beside me. What I saw was someone testing me. Someone pushing me on purpose, poking at me, trying to control my reaction. Someone turning our marriage into some sort of exam I had no idea how to pass. She was waiting for a show. For drama. For desperate begging. And in that instant, I understood something important. I realized I did not want to keep playing this game, so I reached for the pen. She started to smile, a small smirk forming on her face. She thought she had one. She thought I was picking up the pen so I could scribble an incomplete signature, then break down in front of her, begging her not to go through with it. She thought she had created the perfect threat. I just said that I would sign. My voice was quiet and steady. Then I began to sign every page. One page after another. Slowly. Carefully. My hand did not shake even once. Her smirk disappeared and IT did not simply fade. It dropped away completely, like it had never belonged there. She took a small step back, her eyes wide, her mouth slightly open in shock. She said my name. Her voice sounded different now, stripped of that lazy confidence. She told me to wait. She said I had not even hesitated. I put the pen down. I told her that she had wanted me to be scared. She had wanted me to panic at the idea of losing her. But I told her I was finished living in fear of losing someone who did not seem to want to stay in the first place. Color rushed into her face. I saw anger, confusion, and hurt all tangled together like wires in a knot. She started to say that this was not how it was supposed to go. She said I was supposed to stop her. I was supposed to refuse. I was supposed to prove my love by pushing back hard, by refusing to sign, by tearing the papers myself. I told her that this was not what marriage meant to me. Marriage was not about forcing someone to fight just to prove something. I said I could not keep trying to convince her to love me. For the first time in a long time, she looked truly unsure. All the certainty she had been wearing like armor cracked. Her eyes moved back to the stack of papers. She reached out a hand, then pulled it away quickly, like the papers were something hot and dangerous. She said she had not actually thought I would sign them. She said she had only wanted to see if I cared enough to resist, enough to fight. I told her that what she had done was not fighting. It was not love. I told her the word for it. I told her it was manipulation. The room went silent. So quiet I could hear every tick of the clock above the fridge. I could hear my own breathing. I could hear nothing from her. She stared down at the papers as if they might explode if she touched them, as if she had lit a fuse without thinking it through. You might expect me to fall apart then. To panic. To suddenly take everything back. Instead, something else settled over me. A calm, cool clarity. Not joy. Not even peace. Just a sense that the knots inside my chest, the ones I had learned to live with, were finally starting to loosen. I turned and walked toward the door. Juniper hurried after me, her voice shaking now. She asked me to wait. She said she had not meant it like that. She said that she had only felt like I was slipping away from her. I turned back and looked at her. I told her I had not been drifting away. I told her I had been suffocating. Her eyes filled with tears. For a brief moment, I saw the Juniper I had fallen in love with years ago. She looked small, unsure, and deeply human again. Not guarded, not surrounded by loud voices and big opinions. Just herself. She spoke in a low, broken voice. She said she wanted a chance to fix things. She begged me not to walk out that door. She promised that if I left now, she would tear up the papers. She said she would do anything. She said she did not actually want a divorce. I asked her calmly why she had pushed me toward one if she did not really want it. Why she had used divorce as a threat. Why she had turned something so serious into a test. She said she thought that if she pushed hard enough, I would finally show some fire like I used to. She said she missed the old version of me. The one who got loud sometimes. The one who wore his emotions on the surface. She said she felt like things had gone dull between us. She said she hated how we had become normal. I told her that a normal life was not a bad thing. There is nothing wrong with calm days and quiet nights. I told her that making me feel like I could be replaced at any moment, like I was not good enough, that was the real problem. She stepped closer then, slowly, as if she were afraid of scaring me away. She reached out for my hand, but I did not step forward. Her fingers hovered in the space between us, shaking slightly, not quite touching mine. She said she loved me. She said she truly did. She said she had just lost her way. She admitted that she had let other people crawl into her mind. She said they told her that I was not enough, that she deserved more, that our life together was too simple. She said she had believed them for a while. Then she looked at me with wet eyes and said that they were wrong. She said that I was enough. She said that I always had been. Part of me wanted to fall into that moment. To believe every word. To pretend that we could reset everything just by saying the right lines. But another part of me, the quieter part that had been stepped on for months, stayed still. That part remembered how long I had felt alone, even while she stood in the same room. It remembered how often I had tried, and how often I had been met with coldness. I told her that if she truly loved me, it needed to show up in the way she treated me. Not in big dramatic gestures or risky games. But in honesty. In steady effort. In everyday respect. She nodded quickly, too quickly. Tears streamed down her face now. She said she could do that. She said she would do that. She begged me not to let this be the end of our story. I took a slow breath and let it out. I told her that it did not have to end that day. But I also told her that it could not continue the way it had been. Something had to change. The tests, the threats, the feeling of constantly being measured and found lacking, all of that had to stop. I saw relief spread across her face like light breaking through clouds. She said she would make it right. She swore she would try. I did not promise her anything in return. I did not say the words "it will be okay." I did not say "I forgive you." I did not even say that I would stay forever. But in that moment, I stayed. I stayed not because she had forced me into a corner. Not because she had scared me into proving myself. I stayed because, for the first time in a long time, she was not trying to corner me at all. She was just there, with her walls lowered, her tricks set aside, and her fear showing. And that felt like the first honest place we had stood together in a very long time.